That is latex.
Well, hello there. I'm back, and today I'm making a video talking about something near and dear to my heart, but people have questions about it, and it has a mysterious quality about it, and that is latex. As you can see, I have like all my latex hung up here. Not all of it. Actually, I have some in Ziploc bags still. But I have a panel that I do with Abby, that I've done with Abby this year, along with some other materials, talking about latex. But I wanted to kind of go over some basic latex questions that I get, and then just talk about latex a little more, and spend latex in cosplay and that kind of stuff. Okay, with that being said, let's start with the most basic question, and that is, what is latex? So essentially, latex is made from rubber trees. If you didn't know that, rubber itself comes from trees, so it is organic material. And then there's some kind of processing done to it to make what's called latex sheeting. And that is what garments are made out of. And so what's interesting is, I'm still kind of unsure about the process of making that. But I know that Yummy Gummy Latex, one of my favorite designers, she makes her own latex sheeting, and she's made me some different kinds of sheeting. And from what I can tell, it has something to do with liquid latex and then adding pigments and things like that. But she's like very secretive of what she does for the whole process. It's kind of funny. It's actually interesting. The whole latex community is not very open as far as the designers are. They kind of guard their methods for creating garments, and in this case creating sheeting, kind of close to their chest. They don't want that stuff getting out. And I kind of understand, because with everything nowadays, there's things just getting cloned and remade for cheaper in China and stuff like that. So, or not just China, but in general. So then, once the sheeting, so basically, I am what you would call like a designer. A garment designer, not a sheeting designer. So I buy the latex sheeting, and then I make clothes or costumes, hopefully, out of it. And so yeah, basically, what's different about latex is you don't sew it. It's not porous at all, and so when you poke things into it, it's going to weaken the fabric, and then it will tear. And so instead of sewing, you actually glue pieces together, and that's how you make garments with it. So it's glued with a special rubber cement. I won't go into a whole lot of detail because I have panel slides on this, and I'll still be kind of working over a panel. We might be doing another panel that's similar, maybe going into more detail for both spandex and latex next year with Abby and I. But we'll see. That's some foreshadowing for you. But yeah, in general, it's glued. You have to actually glue both sides of the seams, and then you put them together. And instead of hemming the edges that aren't seamed, so the leg holes and arm seams and sleeves, instead of hemming, because again you can't sew, you actually add a reinforcement strip. So you glue a reinforcement strip around edges that are not glued to anything else. And that gives some reinforcement so that, again, you don't end up tearing from having a weaker unglued edge there. And another question I get is, how do you wear latex? And so everything about latex just has to be complicated, I feel like. It's not, you get used to it, so it's not as bad. But in general, when you put latex on, unless it's chlorinated, which is a whole nother thing to talk about, chlorination. But in general, when you put a latex garment on, it sticks to skin. And so as you pull it on yourself, it's going to stick to the skin, and it's going to have a likeliness of tearing. And so what you want to do is you want to like move across your skin, and so that's where often people use a cornstarch or talc powder, and then in general silicone lube is recommended as well. And that's what I use, is silicone lube. So if I'm putting on a catsuit, for example, I'm like lubing my arms up and lubing my legs up and my torso and everything. And that's to, like I said, have the latex better slide across your skin instead of like as you pull it, it will tear or rip. And in general, as far as depending on the garment, like a lot of the garments I've made don't have sleeves, don't have legs, much easier to deal with. For example, Ms. Marvel, although Ms. Marvel has the thigh-high stockings, so you still have to lube up your legs at that point. But yeah, in general, the catsuits are of course the hardest ones to get into, and I've evidence of that. I've torn my catsuit twice now, and patched it, of course, but still. So that's just when you have long nails, even with silicone lube, just trying to get those sleeves in, those last sleeves in, it's tough. So yeah, so in general, that's how you wear latex. How does it get so shiny? So when you first buy some latex sheeting, often, or latex sheeting or latex garments, often you'll get it and it's not shiny, and it's like maybe even like powdery and stuff, and that's because the designer has powdered it up so it doesn't stick to anything in the packaging or stick to itself as well. And so to get that shininess factor, and I do this as well when I first create a garment, because it's just kind of dull until you start shining it up. And so there are shining products out there. I tend to it's just the easiest thing to do is use the same silicone lube that you use on the inside to get it on. You can use on the outside to shine it up. So that's, in general, since it works both ways, that seems to work pretty well. And yeah, so in general, when you first create a garment or first wear a garment, you want to shine it up really good. And then the next time you wear it, because you'll wash it, and I'll go into washing in a little bit here. The next time you wear it, you may have to reshine it, or you will have to reshine it again, but not as bad as the first time. So it'll need less shine. It'll kind of keep some shine after that first time that you wear it. What is chlorination? So I get this. I still don't completely understand chlorination, but I have ordered one garment. So I've purchased garments that are in latex, and I've made garments in latex. And so one of the ones that I purchased a while back, and I have photos in this as well, maybe not on my cosplay page, on my old modeling page, I did. But this garment I ordered chlorinated, and it is a bodysuit, just like a swimsuit bodysuit with a boob window. But it's kind of a transparent blue, and one thing that's kind of actually criticized about chlorination is that it doesn't keep a shine as well, and so you probably can't see it as well on the camera and everything, but this in general doesn't look as shined up as, say, Supergirl. So Supergirl looks a bit more shiny. It's different kinds of latex. It's probably similar thickness, but this, and this is transparent, of course, so it's a little different too. But in general, this is chlorinated. This is not. This will stick to your skin. This won't. At least not as much. And so yeah, so that's the basics of why to chlorinate. But as far as how to chlorinate, like I said, I've purchased some garments chlorinated before, but I've never done it myself. I have a friend who does latex work, latex cosplay actually, and he offered to chlorinate stuff for me if I wanted. So he's done it, And he says, like, yeah, you have it out in a bucket and you got gloves on and it's like some chemical process. And you have to do it when the garment is like all finished, all glued already, because once you chlorinate, supposedly you can't glue doesn't stick to it. That's one thing they say about shiner too, is that you can't re-glue after you've shined a garment, and that's not necessarily true because I've had to patch garments and it was shined up, although you're patching from the inside instead of outside, but still. Um, that's the basics of chlorination. As far as me, I do plan where this would really come in handy for cosplay is with like my Batgirl coming up. So when I do my latex Batgirl, the cape, I have this problem with the Supergirl cape already, that it sticks to the latex, it sticks to your skin, and it doesn't flap around. And so, and also another example would be my Ms. Marvel sash, because that's out of latex too. So if I would have chlorinated that or the cape, like then it wouldn't have stuck to your skin. It won't stick to the garment, and so it'll flow freely. And so I'm hoping to actually, once I finish the Batgirl cape, which is, by the way, double-sided black and yellow, just like the Batgirl of Burnside. And so I'm excited about that. That was a custom sheeting from Yummy Gummy Latex. She can do the double-sided. It's kind of cool. But yeah, when I do that cape, I'm going to hopefully have him chlorinate that for me so it won't stick to the cat suit and everything. So now that we've gone over like all the stuff about latex, one of the main questions I get is, why latex? And for me, it's like, why not? No, but in general, I like the shininess. There's really no other duplicate of getting that certain latex shiny look that, spandex is really tight, and you can get metallic, which I use a lot of metallic spandex, and it looks really good, and but it still doesn't quite have that shininess of latex. Now, PVC or shiny vinyl, essentially, has a similar look, but you can kind of tell the difference once you've started to see garments of both types. And the thing I don't like about PVC vinyl, and I've only done a little bit of it, but is sewing it. So vinyl you can sew. It is porous. You don't want to just be poking holes in it though, because they will show. But to sew the seams, like you can actually sew seams in vinyl. But the problem is that I've had with vinyl is the sewing machine skips a lot of stitches for that. And to get around that, I end up using tissue paper. And for some reason, tissue paper helps the needle from sticking to the shininess from the vinyl. But it's still a pain in the butt. It still skips stitches. And then afterwards, you have to like rip the tissue paper out of the seams and get all the pieces out. So I don't know. Some people prefer that. Some people prefer latex. It's a trade-off because at least one, you're sewing, which if you're more familiar with sewing, that's great. Latex is gluing. There's a lot of waiting with latex as well. You're waiting for glue to dry before you can actually stick it together and stuff like that. So yeah. So as far as shiny and stretchy, there's just latex just has a unique look, and I like that look, and I've liked bringing that to cosplay. I feel like cosplay in general, there are some latex cosplays out there, but it's a little more unique, and so I like, hey, bringing my little unique feel to cosplay. Another question I get sometimes about when I mention latex is, isn't latex just a fetish? And I think the key word there is just. So for some people, it can be a fetish. Some people fetishize about the feel of it on their skin and makes them feel sexy and all this kind of stuff. And I can understand that. I don't necessarily get my jollies off of it or anything, but I mean, I like looking sexy and feeling good about myself and confident. And like I said, the shininess of it, and that it's tight on your skin. It's like a second skin. So I like all of those things about it. So is it just a fetish? No. And, just like anything in life, you can make it your own and do what you want with it. Yeah, so if you want to be fetishy about it, that's totally fine. Like, do your thing. For me, I just like the look of it, and I like the unique look of it, basically. And then along those lines, there's some question about crotch zippers as well. And people are like, why is there a crotch zipper? And I mean, I'm sure for some people the crotch zipper is there for sex, because some people like to have sex in latex, and you know, good for them. That's great. Otherwise, it's something, especially in cosplay, I've learned the hard way, because actually when I first ordered, before I was making latex, when I first ordered my latex Black Widow catsuit, I explicitly stated I didn't want a crotch zipper. And so it zipped up the front, and so I can get that Black Widow cleavage, but then it stops like down here, like around the tummy area. And what I was not thinking, I was thinking, you know, I don't want it to look too like sexual or something. And then since then I've had to wear it all day long, and I can't pee. And so it's something as simple as being able to go to the bathroom would have been nice to have a crotch zipper for. So actually I'm working on my new Batgirl. I'm hoping to put a crotch zipper in it. I did a test of that in the Spandura fabric to test the pattern, and that seemed to work okay. It'll be interesting to actually glue that, because gluing the zippers into latex is always more complicated. But yeah, so in general, crotch zippers, they're really great for having to go to the bathroom, because in general, when I can barely get a catsuit on myself. It's that last arm that I need help, like pulling the last shoulder bit over. And so when it comes to taking it off, it's the same problem. And so trying to take it all the way off down to my waist, down to my legs to go to the bathroom, not only is that a pain, but then putting it back on afterwards is another bit of a pain. So yeah, crotch zipper would come in handy. So that is my basic intro to latex, answering some basic questions about it. Like I said, I have done some paneling about it with Abby, where we talked about spandex, latex, resin, and Warbler this year at a couple different cons. We're going to be doing that same panel again at Stockton Con, probably the last one for the year. And then next year we may do another panel more based on spandex and latex itself. We'll see. No promises. But, and you know, who knows, I could do some more videos about that general theme as well. And even do some more tutorial-like videos for making latex stuff too. But yeah, let me know if you liked this information about latex. Feel free to post questions that didn't get answered, but I'm always interested in knowing what people want answered about latex as well. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
And today I'm making a video talking about something near and dear to my heart, but people have questions about it and has a mysterious quality about it.